Hello, so today we are going to read Charlotte's Wave, and that would be Charlotte's. That is Charlotte's, no? Okay, Charlotte's Wave. That is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story, and this is very popular in all the native English country because that is in their curriculum, educational curriculum that everyone has to read this book. And this is very good. We will read it out, and it would be wonderful. As you can see, there are so many chapters in this book, and Charlotte Wave. This is the first chapter. Okay, before breakfast. Now the pronunciation of this word is not breakfast; it is breakfast. Breakfast. Say. Repeat it after me. Breakfast. Breakfast. Yeah, wonderful. Before breakfast. So, where's Papa going with the eggs? Said Fum to her mommy as they were settling the table for breakfast. Out to the hog house, replied Mrs. Arable. Some pigs were born last night. I don't see why he needs an egg, continues Fern, who was only 8. Well, said her mother, one of the pigs is a runt. It's very small and weak, and it will never amount to anything. So your father has decided to do away with it. Do away with it? Shrinkled Fern. You mean kill it just because it's smaller than the others? Mrs. Rebel put a pitcher of cream on the table. Don't yell, Fern, she said. Your father is right. The pig would probably die anyway. Fern pushed a chair out of the way and ran outdoors. The grass was wet and earth smelled of springtime. Firm's sneakers were sopping by the time she caught up with her father. So now as you can see, you can maybe you would be able to imagine that how the situation are going on. So what happened that in this house, Mrs. Arable house, so there were some pigs who got burned to the not yeah who got birth in the last night, and everyone is and among those pigs there was a pig who was very runt means a very small you know animal. In small sense that other pigs are healthy and this one is very 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 small, so everyone is thinking that it is useless and he or she will die early because it he's weak, right? So that's why his dad decided that he will kill him, so that because he thought that it is useless, right? So that's why he thought something like that. But when Carlot saw his dad that he is going to the hub house is a house, basic hog house is a house where animals are kept, right? So when Fern saw or figure out that his dad is going to the hog house, right? So hog house, then she said that mama, where dad is going with that eggs? So she said he is going to the hog house, and then he is going to the hog house, and then she said, but why, like if he is going to the hog house but it don't make it doesn't make any sense that he's going to a hog house with eggs. Then she said that, yeah, last night the new pig are born, and so among them there is a lunch pig, so that's why he decided that he'll kill him, right? So she said, but it's not fair, and she started yelling, and then she's only 8, right? So suppose if you are 8 and there's someone very close to you, like your dad and your mother are killing someone in front of you, you will yell, right? That's what because you can't do a lot of reasoning at that time. Okay, now when her mama was not listening to her, so she stood up and then she ran to the forest, and then let's read what will happen now. Please don't kill it, she sobbed. It's unfair. Mr. Arable stopped walking. Fern, he said gently, you will have to learn to control yourself. Control myself? yelled Fun. This is a matter of life and death, and you talk about controlling myself. So now what is happening that she went to his dad, and then she said, "This is unfair. Stop it." And then he said very gently that, "Fun, you need to control your feelings now. You need to learn these things." And then she said, "What? I need to control myself, right? This is the matter of life and that. How could I control myself, right?" Tears ran down her cheeks, and she took hold of the axe and tried to pull it out of her father's hand. "Funds," said Mr. Abel, "I know more about raising a little pig of pigs than you do. A walkling makes trouble. Now run along." "But it's unfair," cried Fern. "The pig couldn't help being born small, could it? If I had been very small at birth, would you have killed me?" Mr. Rebel smiled. "Certainly not," he said, looking down at his daughter with love. "But this is different. A little girl is one thing, a little renty pig is another." Then Fern said, "I see no difference," replied Fern, still hanging onto the axe. "This is the most terrible case of injustice I ever heard of." A queer look came over John Arable's face. So the name of Fern's dad is John. He seemed another ready to cry himself. "All right," he said. "You go back to the house, and I'll bring the runt when I'll come in. I'll let you start on a bottle like a baby. Then you'll see what trouble a pig can be." When Mr. Arable returned to the house half an hour later, he carried a cartoon under his arm. Fun was upstairs changing her sneaker. The kitchen table was set for breakfast, and the room smelled of coffee, bacon, damp plaster, and wood smoke from the stove. "Put it on her chair," said Mrs. Arable. Mr. Arable set the cartoon down at Fern's place. Then he walked to the sink and washed his hands and dried them on the roller tower. Tower, you know that it used to be kept. It used to keep in washroom, so that if you are washing your hand, you can dry it on the rural tower, right? So that place. Now what happened? So Fun convinced his dad, and she said that you are doing injustice because he couldn't help, his birth size and all. It's not his mistake. And then she also asked question that, "What if I would be very little and very weak at the time of my birth? Would you do the same with me? Would you kill me?" Then she said then he said, "Definitely no, because you are a different thing, and this runty pig is a different thing." Then she said, "Well, both seems same to me." So after that, he was becoming emotional, and she said, "Okay, I'll let you feed him on a bottle." On a bottle means like a baby. You will feed that, you'll feed a pig by a bottle. So she was like, "Okay." Then he said to her, "Go to home, and when I'll come, I'll bring this pig with myself." Then she went, and after half an hour, Mr. Arable came, and then there was a cartoon in his arms. He was holding, and then Mrs. Arable said that keep it on her table, and then they did it. And yeah, Fern is on the upstairs, and she is changing her sneaker, and after doing it, he bent. Mr. Arable bent to clean his hands, right? Fern came slowly down the stair. Her eyes were red from crying. As she approached her chair, the cartoon bubbled, and there was a screaming noise. Fern looked at her father. Then she lifted the lid of the cartoon. There, inside, looking up at her, was a newborn pig. It was a white one. The morning light shone through its ears, turning them pink. "He is yours," said Mr. Arable. "He is mine." So now what happened? She came down a stair, and then she is looking. So there was a box on her chair, right? Then she tried to go very close to him, and then it bubbled up, and then she showed that there is a noise coming, right? And that was the noise of the pig, right? After watching it, she became very happy, and then she kind of she had a look to his dad, right? And she was very happy. He is yours, said Mr. Abel, saved from an untimely death, and may the God Lord forgive me for this foolishness. Fern couldn't take her eyes off the tiny pig. Oh, she whispered, oh, look at him, he is absolutely perfect. She closed the cartoon carefully. First she kissed her father, then she kissed her mother, then she opened the lid again, lifted the pig out, and held it against her cheek. At this moment, her brother Avery came into the room. Avery was 10 and Furnace 8. He was heavily armed, an air rifle in one hand, a wooden dagger in the other. What's that? He demanded. Was Fun God? She's got a guest for breakfast, said Mrs. Arable. Wash your hand and face, Avery. Let's see it, said Avery, setting his gun down. You call this miserable thing a pig? That's a fine specimen of a pig. It's no bigger than a white rat. So now he is saying his brother Avery that the size of this pig is very like close to, it is very close to the size of a white rat. After that he said that okay, she got a white rat, means not a white rat, a pig whose size is similar to a white rat, right? And his dad was saying, well, you have saved this poor pig by an untimely death, but yeah, and may and wish that God will forgive me for my foolishness. Wash up and eat your breakfast, Avery, said his brother. The school bus will be along in a half an hour. Can I have a pig too, Bob? Asked Avery. So now he is also asking that, can I also have a pig too? No, I only distribute pigs to early riser and Mr. Arable Fun was up at daylight trying to rid the world of injustice. As a result, she now has a pig. A small one to be sure, but nevertheless a pig. It just shows what can happen if a person gets out of a bad promptly. Let's eat. So Fern always wakes up early in the morning, so she is an early riser, and Avery is kind of, he wakes up very late, so he is a late riser, right? So his dad is saying, well, Fern got up early in the morning, and that's why she is getting a pig because she shaved it from the untimely distance. So see the advantage of getting up early in the morning. You can stop some injusticeful activity, and then you can get the reward also, right? But Fun couldn't eat until her pig had had a drink of milk. Mrs. Rabel found a baby nursing bottle and a rubber nipple. She poured warm milk into the bottle, fish, fitted the nipple over the top, and handed it to Fun. Give him his breakfast, she said. A minute later, Fern was seated on the floor in the corner of the kitchen with her infant between her knees, teaching it to suck from the bottle. The pig, although tiny, had a good appropriate and caught on quickly. The school bus honked from the door. Run, commanded Mrs. Arable, taking the pig from Firm and slipping a donut into her hand. Avery grabbed his gun and another donut. The children ran out to the school and climbed into the bus. Fern took no notice of the other in the bus. She just sat and stared out of the window, thinking what a blissful world it was, and how lucky she was to have entire charge of her pig. By the time the bus reached school, Fern had named her pet, selecting the most beautiful name she could think of. Its name is Wilbur, she whispered to herself. Wilbur. She was still thinking about the pig when the teacher said, Fun, what is the capital of Pennsylvania? Wilbur. replied Fern dreamingly. The paper giggling giggled, Fern blushed. So now they are saying, so then the school was hung up, and then her mama, she picked a donut so that she could give it to her children, and then her children give it to her children, and then she said, okay, okay, hurry up, it's school time, right? And everybody took his gun and a donut so that he could eat. And what to say, Fun was just thinking about that she got a pig and all others. She was very happy. She was thinking what a blissful world it is, and she got a pet also, and she is in charge of that little pig. So she was very happy, and till the time she reached to the school, she was thinking, or she was selecting the name of for her pig, right? And then she came across a very beautiful name that was Wilbur. So she said, okay, Wilbur. She whispered it to herself, and at that point of time, her teacher, she asked, "Fun, what is the capital of Pennsylvania?" And then she said, Wilbur, and people started, giggling. So it was a very good chapter. That was the first chapter. I'm reading this book so that I can improve my English. I think that reading is one of the best exercises that you could do to enhance your English. It will help you with vocabulary and all. So today my motto is just that I would read at least 5 to 7 chapters of this book and will upload the videos on YouTube. Point to be noted, I'm uploading these videos for my growth so that after some time I can check it out that how did I do that, and how where I'm making improvement. And also that I think all of you who are learning English, go with it, do it, by doing it you would be enjoying the process. It would be good, and you can also keep the track on your you can check it, right? You can um, evaluate your journey. So yeah, have a wonderful day and love you.